Hi, my name's Johnny, and today yes, that's you and we are taking a look at the JS3QV Spectra bass from Jackson. First time having a Jackson on the channel, first time having a 5-string on the channel, and first time for me actually owning a 5-string. I'm predominantly a 4-string player, so this is stepping into like what I feel is like a whole new world of bass playing. I was first introduced to these basses back in January when it was NAMM. I'll be honest, Jackson have never been a company that have excited me for bass, and I've never really taken much notice. I associate Jackson with the more 80s hair metal looking basses with the pointy headstocks and almost like a super P bass, much like the Ibanez RGB bass that we looked at a few months ago. So these basses are around £369 new. I'm not going to bang on too much about the specs. We've got a lot of sounds to delve into, so that's where the bulk of this video is going to be, I think. Let's start from the tippity top as normal. The headstock is a new design for Jackson, I believe, and they have nailed it. Like I said, I don't really like the pointy ones that they have on their other series of basses. This one looks awesome, and with that just a really subtle J logo, I think it looks so cool. The tuners, despite being die cast, actually hold the tuning really well, and especially on that low B. I've been playing it quite a lot recently, and I've not really had to fiddle with the tuning that much. Moving on up, we have got a really slim profile neck. It's quite flat feeling. It really reminds me like an Ibanez, and that makes sense because I believe someone in the comments informed me that these basses are made in the same factory in Indonesia as a lot of the Indonesian-made Ibanez basses. I'm a 4-string player, I'm used to that spacing, I'm used to that neck profile, so making that jump to 5-string was a bit daunting before, but this neck profile I think really helps to calm some of those nerves, bring down some of those scary expectations, because actually it doesn't feel that much bigger in your hand. On the back of the neck is a satin finish, which I think suits this bass down to the ground. It feels really, really nice. So on the maple neck, we've got a Indian Laurel fretboard. Be interesting to see how this one fares over time. Laurel seems to get quite dry quite quickly. It's not showing any signs just yet, but that's one thing that is probably a downside in the long run, that you're going to have to treat this fretboard a bit more often than you would, say, like a rosewood fretboard. So another thing interesting about this bass in particular is that it's a 35-inch scale, as opposed to a normal 34-inch of a full-scale bass. And I didn't realise that until somebody told me about it. You know, I didn't know that much about these basses going in. I saw it online and thought, I've got to have that. I've got to have that. It's got an extended scale just by 1 inch, but 1 inch can make all the difference. It helps to keep that low B nice and tight. Combined with the high mass bridge, it feels like high quality. In some of the shots you'll see, it looks a bit like the B string especially is flapping about quite a bit, but I think that's down to a couple of things. My aggressive playing, frame rate of the camera, and the angle that it was shot at. It doesn't feel loose, it doesn't feel like it's flapping about, it feels nice and tight and high quality for this price range. So obviously one of the shining stars about this bass is the finish, the colour. I think this bass definitely looks better in person compared to what it is online. The poplar body is really lightweight as well, but I don't think that's a detriment to the sound. The pickups on this bass are Jackson's own humbuckers. So many things to talk about with these pickups. We've got a 3-band active preamp, we've got the option of just running it passive, and the pickups also coil split. The world is your oyster with this bass. So many tones at your fingertips. So now let's take a listen to what this thing sounds like. Running through the Line 6 HX Stomp with the Ampeg SVT 4 Pro head and a matching 810 cab. As you can hear, so many tones in this thing and so many usable tones. There wasn't really a sound that I disliked, I don't think. In humbucking mode, you get this nice fat, deep growl that punches really well through a mix. Even in the passive mode, it sounds pretty good, but then also when you split those coils, that is a really nice feature that I didn't expect to see on a bass like this. You can actually get tones pretty close to a jazz bass, I think, when you've got it in the middle position. Overall, I think my favourite sound is probably the bass and treble boosted a tiny little bit, middle position, both pickups, humbucking mode. That's the kind of sound I wanted out of this bass. It sounds like an Ibanez, it feels like an Ibanez, but it's a bit of an underdog, I think. The preamp, I think, is super usable. I think it really suits this price range. With more affordable preamps, I always find them that they're a bit too hot. Like, why would you want that much treble or bass? What's the point? It's only usable to a certain degree. With this preamp, however, totally usable. Even when you've got them boosted fully, it's not too overwhelming, which is a really great sign to the quality of this bass. Some things that maybe aren't so good about this guitar: the treble knob is a bit sticky, and you know, nobody really likes a sticky knob. So when you turn it all the way up, it's just it feels like it's like crunching on something, and same when you turn it all the way down. No other problems with any of the others. I don't think this is something that's standard across it, just a little quality control issue, I think. The other thing about the knobs that is a bit weird is the coil splitting and the active and passive mode. Now, I expected the switch to be active or passive, and then the coil split to be the volume knob pulling up, which is a standard thing for guitars and basses, but it's actually the other way around. So when you pull the knob, it puts it into passive mode, and flicking the switch is humbucking versus single coil. So, bit weird, it takes a bit of getting used to, but even with that, I don't feel overwhelmed with this bass, with the amount of knobs that are on it, or the amount of controls and parameters to take into account. So whilst some of the knobs are a bit confusing, once you get used to it, I don't think that it's intimidating at all. There we have it. Let me know in a comment down below what you think about this bass. This bass in particular, I think is a really good stepping stone into 5 strings, because it didn't feel too alien when I was playing it with the neck and with the string spacing, but at the same time, it is still a bit of a challenge if you're going from a 4 to a 5 to adjust your techniques so you're not getting loads of string noise or you're not playing all the wrong notes. It takes a bit of getting used to, but overall, I think practicing on this bass, it helps to improve my technique as a bass player overall. And I'm already seeing that after playing this bass for a while. Going back onto 4 strings, I feel more articulate and that I'm playing tighter, which is great. So yeah, let me know what you think of this bass. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe if you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.